Greetings and welcome to another Pokemon 2019 or Pokemon Journeys anime episode review. This time I'm talking about episode 85, so let's get to it. Episode 85 begins in Stow-on-Side. Ash and Goh are here to visit the Stow-on-Side stadium in order to prepare for Ash's battle with Bee the next day. Inside the stadium, they find Bee, who is in the middle of some intense training with her Pokemon. Now I have to say that the phalanx are adorable here as they try to perform the same motions that Bee and the other Pokemon do. Ash is in awe when he sees Bee's training. He realizes that she will be a tough opponent to overcome. Bee soon notices that Ash and Goh are here, so she stops the training and she greets Ash, saying that she has not heard from him in a while. But she calls Ash trainer of Riolu, which annoys Ash, who exclaims that his name is Ash. Bee still does not remember Ash's name, or maybe she's just that bad with names. In any case, it's funny that she calls Ash trainer of Riolu. However, Ash sends out Lucario to show Bee that he no longer has a Riolu, but Bee simply upgrades Ash's designation to trainer of Lucario instead, which is hilarious. Ash and Goh simply react like, oh, of course she would say something like this. Bee's Pokemon are curious about Lucario, so Ash sends out his other Pokemon so that Bee and her Pokemon can meet Ash's entire team. Ash and Bee both have 6 Pokemon on hand, so they both have a full team. Goh says that now they have both seen each other's Pokemon, meaning that they have an idea of what to expect for the battle. It's worth noting that the Pokemon that Bee has here are all Pokemon that she does use in the games. However, in the games, she also uses a Surfetch, which is not present in the anime. There are 2 reasons for this. One, she would have 7 Pokemon, which is more than a full team. Though this is her gym, so she does not need to have them all in her team at once. Some of them could roam around here, and it was shown in a previous episode that she does have more than the 6 Pokemon that are here. The second reason is that Ash has a Surfetch, so they probably wanted to avoid the overlap. Also, since we are on the topic of Surfetch, it is disappointing that Bee did not react to the fact that Ash's Farfetch also evolved, though this might happen later. So, Bee says that Ash and his Pokemon should train with her and her Pokemon, but Ash declines, saying that he is supposed to meet with Korrina here. Korrina soon arrives with a bag in her hand. Now, I love how Pikachu hears the sound of Korrina's skates, so he knows that she is nearby. So Pikachu basically twists Ash's neck so that Ash can face towards the entrance. This looks very painful, but it is also very funny. So Korrina has a serious expression, like she is mad. Goh recalls that Bee defeated Korrina, and that Bee said that Korrina was rather soft. Therefore, Ash and Goh think that Korrina is angry, that she hates Bee. Goh adds that Korrina said that she wanted to watch Ash's battle with Bee, but perhaps what she really wanted to do was get revenge on Bee. Korrina then rushes towards Bee. Ash and Goh tried to stop her, thinking that Korrina is going to attack Bee. However, Korrina ends up hugging Bee in tears instead, and she calls Bee Saito-chan. Saito is Bee's Japanese name, and Chan is an honorific in Japanese that is used for those you find endearing, like children, close friends, babies, cute animals, etc. This and the hug show that Korrina and Bee are not at odds with each other. Far from it, in fact, they are actually good friends, which is what I would expect from fellow fighting type gym leaders. Ash and Goh are both shocked when they see this. It turns out that Korrina has sweets in the bag that she brought along. Sweets that she brought for Bee, but Korrina apologizes because she could not get the Lumiose galettes that Bee loves. Instead, she brought the sweets that she has become obsessed with recently. So she wants to be forgiven for this. Bee smiles, laughs, and she says, oh, that was all? She then says that Korrina is very thoughtful for bringing these sweets, and she says that they should all enjoy the sweets together, and so Korrina is relieved as a result. This is Bee's softer side, which the anime has shown very little of, so it's nice to see some more of it, since it is heartwarming to see her act like this when she is normally so serious and cold. Now, it's funny that Bee reminds Korrina that she is supposed to be here to meet up with Ash, and Korrina obviously forgot about this, since she innocently turns around and says, oh, hello, Ash. So everyone sits down to eat the sweets together, which leads to some fun moments and interactions. Sirfetch tries to eat a sweet with its sword, but the sweet falls off and it hits Sirfetch on the face, who then looks at the sweet like, oh no, I messed up. The phalanx surround and devour a pile of sweets, and they look at Grookey like, what you looking at? Which is both funny and adorable. Dracovish plays with one sweet using its fins. It eats the sweet and it says ooh la la, or rather that's what it sounds like, which is fitting, funny, and adorable. Dracovish never fails to make me smile with how silly and goofy it can be. Ash's Lucario and Korrina's Lucario get into a fight with Beast Pokemon until they are told to stop by their trainers. Ash and Korrina laugh because they say the same thing, and both Lucario look at each other and they bump fists, while smiling like, good job, yeah, you too, great minds think alike. B thanks Korrina for the sweets since the Pokemon are delighted, and Korrina says that she can't pay a visit without bringing some Kalos delicacies. She then shares her current favorite sweet with everyone, and everyone agrees that they are delicious. Ash then says that it's surprising that Korrina and B are friends. Korrina wonders why this is surprising, and Ash says that B said that Korrina was rather soft with a serious expression. And Goh funnily does an impression of when B said this. Korrina says that B is just such a sourpuss. B says that Korrina is always saying that battles are to be enjoyed, but B does not agree with this. Korrina says that this is proof that what she said about B is true, and she says that she does not mind this attitude since B is kind to her Pokemon and she is an expert martial artist, and that she could learn a lot from B. B says that she could say the same thing about Korrina, but she says that she loves the fact that Korrina has shown her so many tasty sweets, which means that she only appreciates Korrina for the sweets that she brings, and not because Korrina is a capable and or good trainer, which is in stark contrast to what Korrina thinks of B. This understandably shocks Korrina, and B says this while eating the last of the sweets without a care in the world, which just makes everything she just said even more believable. I guess that B is simply disinterested in other people, and not in a bad way. Meaning it's not that she does not care about other people at all, instead, it's more that she does not really engage or connect with people that much. She simply gets along with them without thinking too deeply about it. Hence why she calls Ash trainer of Riolu / Lucario. Also, when B said that Korrina is rather soft in the past, B did not mean this in a bad way. She was simply being honest without any malice. So, Korrina mentions that this will be the third time that Ash and B will battle each other. Ash says that he is really looking forward to the battle, and B says that she sees this battle as a trial, because Ash has crossed her path 3 times. So she believes that Ash is destined to show her something, and she believes that she will learn what this is when they battle the next day. Ash says that they should have a good battle. B agrees, and they shake hands. Korrina expresses her excitement because the battle will be amazing, since it will be a battle between rivals and she can't wait to see it. She then says, I will be cheering you on, so Ash wonders who she will be cheering for, and Korrina says that she will cheer for both of them. The episode then cuts to the Pokemon Center during the night, where Ash and Goh get ready to sleep. Goh says that B was really fired up and he wonders what Pokemon she will use. Ash says that he will win regardless of what she picks. Goh says that Ash should do his best, and Ash thanks Goh for his support. The episode then cuts to the Stow-on-Side stadium. It's the next day and the battle between Ash and B is about to begin. The stadium is full of people who eagerly await to see the battle, Korrina and Goh among them. The announcer introduces B and he notes that she has her Dynamax band. Goh realizes that she will be using Dynamax, and Korrina says that of course, Stow-on-Side Stadium is a power spot after all, and that when B uses Dynamax, it's a sight to behold. The announcer then introduces Ash and he mentions that Ash defeated Bolgner with a C move, and that Ash is the contestant that everyone is keeping their eyes on. He then points out that Ash has a Mega Glove with a Keystone, and that Ash switched from C moves to Mega Evolution for this battle. At this point I thought, wait a minute, Ash defeated Bolgner, his first Ultra class opponent, with a C move. And he will use Mega Evolution against B, his second Ultra Class opponent. So will he complete the trifecta by using Dynamax/Gigantamax to defeat his third Ultra Class opponent? It's possible, I guess, especially since Ash has not used his Dynamax band since his battle against Leon. It makes sense that in the Ultra Class, when things get serious, Ash has to resort to using all the ultimate techniques/transformations available in order to deal with some of the toughest opponents he has faced so far. Also, it would be funny if Ash would just have his Dynamax band, C-Ring, and Mega Glove all on at once, like some kind of crazy utility belt. He could be ready to use any of them or all of them in battle. It would be crazy if he uses all of them at once. Imagine a giant Mega Evolved Pokemon firing off a C move. The stadium would probably explode. But to be fair, it would be insane enough if he uses all of them separately in a single battle. I could see any of this happening in the future, and it's even more believable because the announcer then says that in this tournament, meaning the Pokemon World Carnation series, you are allowed to use Mega Evolution, C moves, or Dynamax. So they are all fair game. So Ash and B take their positions, and they both realize that they will have to deal with the other's ultimate weapon, which is Dynamax, or rather Gigantamax for B, and Mega Evolution for Ash. Ash and B then get ready to begin the battle. This will be a 3-on-3 battle, just like the battle between Ash and Boltner was, so it's fair to say that all the battles in the Ultra Class will be like this. Ash's first Pokemon is Pikachu, and B's first Pokemon is Grablocked. Two Pokemon that have faced each other before and that Ash and B have used in their previous battles. B in particular must really like Grablocked since she does have other Pokemon that she has never used against Ash. Or maybe it's just because Grablocked is one of her strongest Pokemon and one that has given Ash a lot of trouble in the past. Or more likely this was done so that Lucario can settle the score with Grablocked, considering the result of their previous battles. So Pikachu starts off with Quick Attack, but Grablocked uses Detect to dodge the attack. Pikachu immediately follows up with an Electro Web, which traps Grablocked. Now, it's funny that Grablocked appears to do a dab pose when it's caught in the Electro Web, and it's like, what? And Pikachu then does a dab pose in return, like, ha, got you. Also, Grablocked did dodge Quick Attack with a dab pose too, which is pretty funny as well. Now, Grablocked waves at B with one of its tentacles to let her know that it can still use its tentacles through the Electro Web, which proves to be a useful heads up since Pikachu uses Iron Tail, but Grablocked is able to stop Pikachu with one tentacle, and then Grablocked pummels Pikachu with its other tentacles using close combat through the Electro Web. Pikachu takes some good damage, and Grablocked then breaks free from the Electro Web, so Ash decides to withdraw Pikachu. Ash then sends out Lucario. This is the third time that Lucario faces Grablocked, and Lucario has yet to win, so Ash says that this time they will defeat Grablocked. Now, just like in previous battles, Grablocked motions at Lucario with its tentacles like, come on, bring it. Grablocked starts off with Liquidation, but Lucario uses Double Team to surround Grablocked, who then spins and it hits all the clones with Liquidation. However, Grablocked does not hit the real Lucario, who sneaks up behind Grablocked. Lucario uses Aura Sphere, but Grablocked uses Detect to avoid the attack like Neo. B then withdraws Grablocked. She then sends out Hawlucha, who is another Pokemon that B has used before against Ash. Lucario rushes towards Hawlucha, who uses High Jump Kick to hit Lucario, though Lucario does block the attack. Hawlucha then hits Lucario with a barrage of wing attacks, but Lucario blocks the attacks and it fights back by punching Hawlucha, which I think looks like Lucario is using close combat. An improvised version of it, of course, since Lucario is not actually using close combat. Lucario and Hawlucha then proceed to get into an intense close range brawl where they punch and kick each other continuously, which is just so cool. This is a true battle between fighting type Pokemon. Hawlucha then gets ready to use Sky Attack. Lucario tries to stop Hawlucha by using Force Palm, but Hawlucha manages to dodge the Force Palm by taking to the sky. And Hawlucha then hits Lucario with Sky Attack, which does some serious damage. I do want to mention here that in Japanese, Sky Attack is known as God Bird, which is just such a cool name. Despite taking a lot of damage, Lucario gets back up, but B withdraws Hawlucha and she sends out her strongest Pokemon, Machamp, who is also her strongest Pokemon in the games. Now, Goh sees Machamp's Pokedex entry, and it's interesting that this is actually the first time that Machamp has received a Pokedex entry in the anime, despite the fact that Machamp has been around since Generation 1 and has appeared in the anime several times, and its first appearance in the anime was way back in episode 29. So it's crazy that this took so long. Korrina says that B is really staying on the offensive since she sent out her true ace. Goh wonders about this, but then he remembers that Machamp can Gigantamax. So Machamp starts off with Bullet Punch and Lucario counters with Force Palm. However, Machamp overwhelms Lucario with a barrage of punches. Lucario tries to use Force Palm again, but Machamp uses 2 of its arms to stop Lucario. It then uses its other 2 arms to pummel Lucario with Bullet Punch. Lucario does try its best to block the attacks and then even frees itself from one of Machamp's arms. But Lucario can't get away from Machamp, and so it is punched repeatedly. Lucario then breaks free completely, only to then be immobilized again by 2 of Machamp's arms. Machamp then uses its other 2 arms to hit Lucario with Cross Chop. Machamp then uses these same 2 arms to hold and crush Lucario, and then Machamp uses these same 2 arms to hit Lucario with a barrage of bullet punches. Man, talk about a serious beatdown. It's incredible that Lucario is still conscious. Since Lucario is in serious danger, Ash decides to Mega Evolve Lucario, which surprises Pikachu, Korrina, Goh, and me, because I felt that it was too soon. Ash initiates the Mega Evolution, but Lucario refuses to Mega Evolve, and after struggling for a little longer, Lucario finally breaks free by headbutting Machamp. Now Ash is understandably shocked because Lucario did not want to Mega Evolve. Korrina points out that Lucario's strong will suppressed the power of the Keystone. Now at this point I thought that maybe Lucario did not want to rely on Mega Evolution to break free. It wanted to break free on its own power. However, it turns out that Lucario just thought that it was too early to Mega Evolve, that Ash was being too hasty by playing his trump card too soon. Ash admits that he panicked and that he did not think ahead and that he understands what Lucario is telling him, and they both smile, showing that they are once again united. B sees this and she says that Trainer and Pokemon are both on equal footing, which is the ideal that she aspires to. Now I do hate that the announcer says that the Mega Evolution failed because Ash and Lucario fell apart, and that their bond is not strong enough, which is obviously not true. I do love, however, that Leon surprisingly shows up and he clears up this misunderstanding by saying that in fact, Ash and Lucario have too strong of a bond, which is why the Mega Evolution failed. It turns out that Leon was invited to be a special guest, but he is late because he was lost as usual. Leon then addresses everyone via the big screen in the stadium. He says that Mega Evolution is dependent on the bond between Trainer and Pokemon, which is why it will happen when the time is right. When Ash tried to Mega Evolve Lucario, it was not the right time. And Lucario knew this, which is why Lucario stopped Ash, which shows just how strong their bond is. I love that Leon does this because everyone had the wrong idea that Ash and Lucario don't have a strong enough bond. So it's cool that Leon takes the time to clear up this misunderstanding. Also, it is a very nice surprise that Leon does appear in this episode. Since the trainer that they want to battle is here watching, Ash and B both say that they will be the one to battle Leon and they get ready to continue the battle. Machamp uses Strength and Lucario uses Reversal. They both rush each other and that's the episode. Unfortunately, the episode does end on this cliffhanger, meaning that we have or had to wait a week to see the conclusion to the battle, which is, or rather was, definitely very painful. So overall, this was an amazing episode. It was nice to see Korrina yet again, and it was nice to see B again as well. It's cool that they are close friends, and their interactions were pretty funny. The first half of the episode was really enjoyable since we got to see Ash's Pokemon interacting and playing around with B's Pokemon, and we got to learn more about Korrina and B. Then there's the battle. This episode only showed part of it, of course, but this first part of the battle was very good. It was very intense, and it really felt like a battle of fighting type Pokemon, with Lucario battling all 3 of B's Pokemon in intense close range battles of pure strength and physical prowess. I absolutely can't wait to see the rest of this battle, which is sure to be amazing and epic. It was also nice to see Leon again, and he makes the battle between Ash and B even more personal, since they are now battling while the trainer they strive to defeat is watching. This should make things more interesting, and Leon's commentary and opinions on the battle should also be cool to see. Finally, I do want to mention that this episode is great because it shows what happens when they don't rush things. Ash's battle with B was divided into 2 episodes. In the first episode, which is this one, we got to see the characters just talk to each other. They got to interact. They got to learn more about each other. They got a chance to develop more, and this includes the Pokemon. All of this helps to set the stage for the battle, and then we got to see a good chunk of said battle. Next episode, we get to see the rest of the battle and its aftermath. So there was no rush here, which is in stark contrast to how rushed Ash's reunion and battle with Iris was, which is just one example of how rushed some episodes have felt. And I have said in the past several times that I wish that this was not the case. So it's nice to see that we're finally getting some better paced episodes. Hopefully, this continues to happen going forward. But that's the video. As always, leave your own thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did and would like to see more like it, then please consider subscribing to my channel. I love Pokemon and I love making videos on both the anime and the games. Also, please consider clicking the links on screen so that you can check out more videos like this right away. Thank you very much for watching, and let's meet again in the next video.